All right, Professor. So for this lab, we are asked to prompt the user our initial prompt, which is to enter the amount of quizzes that they wish to add. And then we ask the user to enter the quiz grades. And I just wrote this as our good prompt, as there are no errors. And then our invalid input prompt, which is our bad prompt, is asking them to please enter again. Invalid input, please enter again. And then these common zero just stops this prompt in its tracks. Uh, that way it won't that way it won't ask them this and also this. It gets very confusing. So these are very pretty important. And so down here, here's our variables. This is where we will store our inputs. In this case, our variables. And then we display our initial prompt, which is then moved to EDX, and we offset initial prompt. Then we call the string of the initial prompt, and then we read it, and then basically it's a long version of uh, outputting a prompt for the user. And then the user then enters a number, and we move that number with being our variable one into EAX. And then we store the variable in EAX, basically. Next, we are going to display the good prompt, and we move EDX. So we use EDX for our prompts, basically. And then we call the string, which is enter the quiz grades, and then we move ECX to variable one. So this is a new value opposed to EAX for now. And then we store the variable in ECX. And then we're gonna establish three different jump locations, L1, L2, and L3. And for our L1, we are going to, well, it's like a loop. We read our the integer inputted, and then we compare it, we compare our value to 10. And if it's greater than 10, then we're gonna jump greater to L2. And L2 is our bad prompt. So we'll get back to this. But if it's, or no, we'll do it right now. So it jumps to our bad. And then we call the string saying that invalid input, please enter again. And then, um, oh yeah, and then after that, we just jump back to L1, to the top of L1. And then it reads the value inputted, and then it compares if it's greater than 10. And if it's not, if it's within 0 to 10, then we uh, add variable 2 to EAX. And then we loop up until uh, the number that the number of quizzes they added is completed. After that, we are going to jump to L3. If there are no issues that have occurred, we jump to the total prompt. And L3 right here, our total prompt. We move EDX offset total prompts. So we basically grab this prompt up here, and then we we call the string, and the total quiz score is that's what we're stating, and then we're gonna move EAX to variable two, and then we're gonna this gathers the total number of quizzes, so it just gathers all the inputs that have been made, and then write decimal. It displays the total, which is so this adds it, and then this just displays the total. And then this call RLF, I found this in the Irvine Library, and the definition states that it just writes a carriage return line feed sequence to standard output, which is just a more technical way of saying that it acts as a return button. As you type, it's just, like an indentation. It just, that's all it is. And we're gonna exit, and yeah, so it looks like this. But it's gonna ask us to enter the number of quizzes that we wish to add. And I'm going to say 4. And then, oh, I forgot. So basically, what I forgot to do is put that 0 up here. So it read this one and this one. But yeah, I fixed that. So that's why these zeros are important. Comma 0, it just stops the prompt in its tracks. And okay, back to this. So we're gonna put, we want to add 4 quizzes. And the first quiz, the grade is gonna be 2. Then the next quiz, just as a typo, we're gonna say 13. This is invalid input. Please enter again. So we're just gonna enter between 0 and 10. So we're gonna say 5. That should be 7. And then we're gonna put 2. That should be 9. And then we're gonna put 1. And the total quiz score is 10, which makes sense because 2, 5, 7, 9, 10. So yeah, this works out. Oh, and also that invitation right here was from the CRLF call. And that's it. If you enjoyed, take care.